Hello fellow cinephiles, Film Guru here. Today I'm reviewing Broken Heart Gallery. This was directed by Natalie Krinsky and stars Geraldine Viswanathan, Trey Montgomery, Philippa So, Suzuki Waterhouse and a number of others. The film follows the always unique Lucy, a 20-something art gallery assistant living in New York, who also happens to be an emotional hoarder. She ultimately gets into Nick's car thinking it's an Uber. And ultimately, this is where the two meet. This is sort of like a meet cute in this regards to the romantic comedy type film. It's about how these two connect and ultimately become friends, which lead to much more. Due to what's happening in her life and all the past relationships she's had, she ultimately becomes inspired to create the Broken Heart Gallery, a place where people can bring their mementos and souvenirs from past relationships and sort of put them on display and ultimately let go of them and try and move forward in life. Ultimately, the word of the gallery spreads and becomes quite successful and ultimately encouraging a movement and a fresh start for all the romantics out there, including Lucy herself. I'm a huge fan of romantic comedies. I see a number of them, and sometimes they're good, sometimes they're bad. I like the ones that are trying to add something different to it, so it's not just the same run-of-the-mill sort of romantic comedy tropes that it was always seen. This does have those romantic comedy tropes, but it is sort of a bit different. I like the idea of this sort of broken heart gallery, where people have hung on to these things from past relationships. It's like souvenirs, mementos, trying to capture that memory and struggling to let go and move forward. And I really like that element to the film. The biggest surprise with this film, it's a romantic comedy that's actually really funny. I found it a very humorous film. I laughed all the way through it. I thought the jokes worked really well. And I thought the jokes and one-liners worked really well. And all the jokes kind of hit. And I really liked that. It sort of added something to it. And I found myself laughing and going along with the characters. And I found it a very amusing and entertaining movie, which I wasn't quite expecting. And I thought that was brilliant. I thought all the acting was solid. Trey Montgomery I don't know too much about, but he's solid here playing Nick, who's sort of trying to deal with his own issues and trying to deal with his own past relationships. He's ultimately trying to create this hotel he calls the Chloe Hotel. And because of him creating this and struggling with it, when he meets Lucy, they sort of inspire each other to create and to continue on and to realize their dreams. And I kind of like that. I thought the two young actresses playing Lucy's roommates were really good. Amanda, played by Molly Gordon, sort of known for Booksmart, and Philippa So, who plays Nadine. These two friends are really great, and the combination of these two and Geraldine is really great. The chemistry between them is really good, and they all have their really funny moments. They're a strong band of women who are very funny and able to convey such an interesting relationship. And I thought they both did a fantastic job. Molly Gordon has these really great moments in the film as Amanda. She's dating this guy called Jeff she's been with for 6 years. He doesn't say a word throughout the film, not until the last sort of 10 minutes where he gets a sort of little monologue, which is kind of really funny. You get to see what's actually happening inside of his head. And I really liked that. I thought that was an interesting element and added a lot of humor to the film because there was certain expressions that he did that she reacted to and everybody else knew what they meant, and I liked that. And she just had some really fun moments in the film. And Philippa So was exactly the same. She was very funny. Both her and both Nadine and Amanda are betting all the time in regards to her relationships and what's going to happen there and if it's going to last or not last. But really, the standout here, the showstopper, the person who stole the film in my regard, is Geraldine Viswanathan. I thought she was really great. I only just found out today she's an Australian actress. I didn't know that. I've known her from Blockers. I think she was really good and had a sort of standout role in Blockers. But this is her first sort of starring vehicle. And I think she's fantastic. She has this really great infectious energy that she puts into the character. She has really great comic time. She's able to land every joke in a great way. Adds a lot of heart and soul to this film. She's vibrant and colourful and interesting. And she's just a character that sort of looks at the world, a glass half full. And I just really like the way she looks at the world. And she's sort of happy-go-lucky in a lot of ways. But there's a real dramatic side to her here. She's able to shine these really small moments where she can be dramatic and emotes quite an interesting array of emotions. And I really love her here. She's fascinating to watch. She's funny. She's just a real standout. I think she's one to watch out for. And I look forward to seeing what she does next because she's really great. It's simply shot. The certain aspects of this film that I really, really liked was when people give over their belongings or their souvenir from a past relationship or a past breakup. There's this moment where they're recorded in this sort of old-fashioned way, and they're sort of talking to the screen and they're hanging on to their memento, and they're talking about what that meant to them and why they kept it and stuff like that. I thought these sequences were fantastic. It really felt like a documentary element to it. It's sort of an element that have been used in movies like When Harry Met Sally and Must Love Dogs, and I really like the way it's used because it sort of tells you what this thing meant to this person, and they're able to talk about it, and you get to know who they are from this little moment. It's like capturing a moment in time, and I really loved that. I thought that was a really inventive way to do things. I felt this should have been used much more than it was, but in the moments it was used, it worked really well. I like the gallery itself and building that and how she forms that, and I really like the concept of these, creating this gallery, creating this place where people can offload their souvenirs of breakups, or can sort of pass on this thing and visit whenever they want, but they can slowly start to move on in life, start to move forward and start to live again rather than being stuck in this moment with this particular thing. I found it captivating and fascinating, and I liked how, just by the simplicity of what Lucy's able to accomplish, it helps so many people, and I really loved that. That's the element that gave this film a lot of heart, and I found it fascinating and interesting to see that unfold on screen. I thought Geraldine was fantastic, and she was a real driving force for this film, and I felt connected to her character and the other characters because I thought it was really well written and executed by Natalie Krinsky. She's able to show relationships from a female perspective, which I think is refreshing in a lot of ways, because when you see a romantic comedy, it's usually from the point of view of the man, or sometimes the female as well, but they don't really sort of show you as much as they do in this sort of film. But you don't see it from the female perspective that much, and I really thought that was refreshing about this film. I was entertained from start to finish with this film. There was many moments of laughter, a lot of heartfelt moments that really had an effect on me, and I just impressed what they were able to accomplish with this simple film. Final thoughts. At the essence, it's about letting go. I think that's what the film's really about. It's about letting go of past relationships, letting go of the past, and trying to move forward. Not hanging on to something from the past. By them having this memento, it is like they're encapsulated in that memory, in that past, and they can't escape it. It's like they're sort of frozen in time. But when they're able to offload that thing, it's like that they're able to unfreeze themselves and can see a new and interesting perspective and are able to move forward in life. I thought this element was really great. I'm going to give Broken Heart Gallery 4 out of 5. I thought it was a solid comedy, really enjoyed my experience with it. If you're a fan of romantic comedies, definitely worth checking out for something a little different. Anyway, that's all from me today. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please hit subscribe down the bottom. Follow me on Facebook. Otherwise, until next time, enjoy the movies.